This is Kicking and Streaming Podcast.
Briefly, would you mind telling me what did you watch last week? Jojo, what did you?
So I watched a movie that I've been meaning to watch since it came out in 2014. I actually wanted to see it in the movie theater and it just never happened. And that is the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's a Wes Anderson film, so there's folks who kind of hate Wes Anderson, and that's totally fine. I'm kind of in the middle ground with Wes Anderson. There's some of his stuff I'm like, this is weird, and there's other stuff I'm like, this is the most fabulous thing ever. But I have to say that the Grand Budapest Hotel is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, visuals are wonderful. The story is hilarious and also very sad and very emotional. There's performances in here that are just fantastic. Everybody puts in a fantastic performance, and it's a great movie, and not at all like it kind of presents itself as being super silly, and but it really isn't. There's a real core of a story there, and it's currently streaming on HBO Max. But it's a fantastic movie, and I'm sorry that I waited as long as I did to watch it.
I don't know why, but I keep typically confuse these two movies: the Marigold something hotel and the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yes,
So remove that confusion for me, because Marigold one is the one with Dame Judi Dench and Dev Patel, isn't it?
yes, it
So
is.
what is the Grand Budapest about?
So the Grand Budapest Hotel is about a hotel that was a very popular European ski resort in the 30s, like one of those very, very posh places that people would go. And it's in a completely made up European country and European town, but it's very, very grand, very posh, very, very Art Deco, gorgeous place. And it's run by a character played by Ray Fiennes, Gustav. And it's about the fictional and hilarious kind of hijinks that he gets up to with some of the very, very rich people who stay there, because that's what it is. It's the very elite who stay there. Tilda Swinton plays an 83-year-old dowager who it's funny because the character was originally supposed to be played by Angela Lansbury, but she had contract issues and couldn't end up playing this character. But anyway, so Tilda Swinton takes over the part of like an 83-year-old, and of course Tilda Swinton nails the part of this 83-year-old lady who, anyway, she and Gustav had a very torrid sexual affair, and she ended up leaving her whole estate and a very valuable painting to him. And of course that makes the family insane, and hijinks ensue. But at the same time, World War II breaks out. And even though this is in a fictional country, in a fictional Europe, and it's a fictional hotel, it really gets to the core of, I think, the feeling in Europe when that happened. And it's just fascinating to me, because you do have all this kind of wackiness going on in a Wes Anderson movie, and then you have the real shock and horror and pain that Europe felt in 1939 when that happened, when Germany began the process. And it's the juxtaposition is very, very interesting to me, and Wes Anderson handles it beautifully. It doesn't become saccharine or ridiculous or anything at all like that. It actually becomes, like I said, a very, very moving story about that. So so it's fictional, set in the 30s for the most part. There's a little bit set in the 70s, but that's just like kind of a wrap up of the story. But yeah.
All right. So yeah, this is it. And the Grand Budapest Hotel is one that I have to put on my list because, again, I've always confused the two things: the excellent Grand Marigold versus the Grand Budapest. And
Yes. I
there's
think
one of them that I always try to pass on, like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that, which is the reason why I haven't watched neither of them.
yes, the one with Dame Judi Dench, I think, is more based around almost like an old person's home, sort of. The Grand Marigold Hotel, right? The Grand
Yeah,
Marigold Hotel. I think it's
yeah,
based
yeah.
on and partially based on a true story, if I understand correctly. Grand Budapest is completely fictional. And there is a cast that is just fantastic. You've got Jay Fiennes, Bill Murray is in it, Tilda Swinton is in it, Edward Norton is in it. I'm going to mispronounce his name, but Matthias Almorek is in it. Adrian Brody is in it. Willem Dafoe is in it and is fabulous as a henchman. And it's a cool cast, and it's a fun movie, but also a very moving movie at the same time.
It sounds like a whole lot of fun. So
Yep.
I haven't watched a movie in quite a few days, to be honest with you. Like, I've been watching things here and there, but they're definitely not movies. If you count, though, in good segue into my what did you watch
Yes.
last week?
Yes. What did you watch last week?
So there is this little show that I started watching maybe about 2 seasons ago. So that would have been in 2020. First season came out, and it's on BritBox. And for me, it was a discovery because I'm a big fan of Jason Watkins, but the actress who he pairs with on this one is an actress that I was not very familiar with. I'm referring to an actress named Tala Gouveia. And she, I have to say, is absolutely fantastic, right? This is Tala Gouveia.
Beautiful woman.
And as I said, she is marvelous. She's absolutely fantastic. And they both star in a series called McDonald and Dodds. And Jason Watkins, he's a freaking thespian. But on this one, he plays sort of like a genius, a dude clearly with some issues, but he's a fucking genius. He's a police sergeant in the city of Bath in southwest England, and no one wants to work with him because he is very meticulous, and you would almost say that he's slow, but it's just that he is a genius. So he doesn't have a lot of friends. He's a lonely guy, if you will, and everybody kind of like brush him aside. So Lauren MacDonald gets transferred from London to Bath as a DCI, and that's whom she's paired with Sergeant Dodds. So all of a sudden, every crime, they are the first on the scenes, and Lauren is very ambitious, very boom, very forward, and the hustle and bustle from a big city like London.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the character that Jason Watkins plays, Dodds, he's more laid back, he's more observant, and he goes beats around the bush a lot before he gets to the point, but he has a point.
Okay.
And so the episodes are obviously 90 minutes, 3 episodes per season as usual. But this season 3, so far is absolutely fantastic. And I've only watched 2 of the 3 episodes because they are releasing them on a weekly basis, I think every Thursday.
Okay.
And the first episode this season, guess who had one of the greatest guest appearances I've ever seen? Like, look, man, Alan Davis is a fine actor.
Yes.
And his serious characters are absolutely great.
Yeah.
And Alan Davis was so impressive in this first episode.
Oh, that's
and I was
fantastic.
Like, Georgia, you have to watch this.
I was going to say, I need to watch this.
Yeah, you do, man, because it's just amazing. So this is what you would see when you go looking for MacDonald and Dodds.
Okay.
So she's Lauren MacDonald, and my dude is Sergeant Dodd. And this dude has won, like, I think he's won BAFTA like 2 or 3 times. That's how good he is, And here, when you see him, you would think, yeah, this is an aging, washed out dude that has no future here. But he's fantastic, and
awesome.
You have to watch this show.
That's awesome.
And then I also had a look at the first episode of She-Hulk, which I wasn't expecting to like, but I ended up liking it, man.
So, okay. So I have to interject here for a second because Jeff watched it and he wants to do a podcast episode with you about it. He thinks that you and he could geek out about She-Hulk and have fun.
Okay, but I'm in. I am absolutely in, man. Look, I think obviously there's the bias that I have for Tatiana Maslany because I freaking love her. She was great on Orphan Black. She was great on Perry Mason, and I mean, she's just dope, you know.
Yeah.
But with all the hoopla about the CGI and stuff with that, I was prepared not to like it, and
Yeah.
it just turns out that freaking love it, and I'm looking forward to watching the next few episodes. So,
Yeah.
have you not seen it, Jojo?
No, I haven't seen it. He started it. He came home late from work or something and watched it without me. How dare he? No.
I did the same. Christine was like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I already started. I'm half an hour in, so I'm on." She's like,
So
"She-Hulk?" I'm like, "Yeah."
so yeah, I think you and Jeff need to do an episode about it. I think that'd be fantastic. Because he came to me and was like, I want to talk to Graham about this show.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's set up something because I seriously I'm like, yo, again, I was expecting this whole thing to be ridiculous. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
It is not. It is freaking cute. Her chemistry with Bruce Banner, with Mark Ruffalo, was great on this first episode. And she's a lawyer and she does her thing. Man, she's like, yeah, this is dope. Like I'm freaking yeah, no, I'm all in for this one. Last but not least, I was roaming through after I watched these episode of Sandman. I was roaming around Netflix and I discovered this little Korean show that I said, no, okay, so let me see what this is all about. You know, Korean shows are a thing now, at least for all of us. I'm not saying that it's a new thing. I don't want, all the K-pop people to, come after me and shit. I'm not saying it's a new thing. I'm saying that it's becoming more prominent now that it's on pretty much every um, streaming platform. You will find some Korean content.
Right.
Y-
There's access to it now, whereas
Yeah,
before it would have been something you had to search for and
exactly.
possibly not only find pieces of. So
Yeah, yeah. So I found this little show called The Extraordinary Attorney Wu.
I've
And
heard of this show. Is it
yeah,
good? Yeah, I've heard of it.
look, man, I'm not going to tell you whether it's good or not, but you
Okay.
need to watch the first episode.
Okay.
Because imagine The Good Doctor, but as an attorney and as a girl, with
Okay.
an absolutely beautiful background story. I think The Good Doctor, you just get thrust into this guy who is, on the spectrum and whatever, and he's great, and people misunderstand him and treat him poorly until they figure out, oh, this guy is a freaking genius.
Right.
But this show starts with this little girl's background story,
Okay.
and then boom, fast forward to 20 years,
Okay.
and then you start to see you start to see things. I I'm gonna watch this. Look, I saw the first episode and I went to bed, but I'm gonna watch it, Jojo, because I'm loving it. I'm loving it because this little actress is really good. I haven't had the time to go and research the names of the actors and whatever, but the acting is great, and she particularly is, for me, is brilliant in the sense that she is playing a very obviously delicate character, of course, because you are portraying somebody who you're portraying a disability
Mm-hmm.
while really bringing all the humanity that you can without making it a caricature.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she does a banging job with it. So go ahead and check it out, and you tell me what you think, because for me it's a plus. It's great,
Okay.
but I don't know that. I'm almost sure that it might be your cup of tea because it's us. you know, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I'd like to hear what you have to say about it, because for
Yeah.
me it was like, yeah, this is good. I could get used to this.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah.